Lillahi ta'ala, have the good intentions. I ask Allah to make this easy for myself and for you. The author says, may Allah have mercy upon him. Fa'idah, benefit. Sam'ullahi wa basaruhu laysa ka sam'ina wa basarina. The hearing of Allah and His sight is not like our hearing and our sight. نحن نسمع الشيء بسمع يحدث لنا عند ظهور الصوت. We hear something that happens to us upon the manifestation of the sound. ونرى الأشياء برؤية تحدث لنا عندما نرى الأشياء. And we see things with a vision that happens to us when we see things. أما الله يسمع الأصوات بسمع أزلي أبدي. As for Allah, He hears the sounds by an eternal, everlasting hearing. Here also, amma. So the origin is to respond to amma with a fa. So that fa would be here. Amma Allahu fayasma'. Here the fa is omitted. That's valid, as we said before. But it's usual to put the fa. وَيَرَى بِرُؤْيَةٍ لَيْسَتْ حَادِثَةً عِنْدَ وُجُودِ الْمُبْصَرَاتِ الْحَادِثَةِ. And he sees with a sight that is not an event that occurs upon the existence of created seen things. His sight is not something that happens to him. Our sight is something that happens to us. كُلُّ صِفَاتِهِ كَحَيَاتِهِ. All of his attributes are like his life. حَيَاتُهُ لَيْسَ لَهَا انْقِطَاعٌ. His life has no end. It does not stop. It's not cut off. أي لا يتخللها انقطاع, meaning it is not interrupted by some severance. كذلك كلامه وسمعه وبصره وقدرته ومشيئته وعلمه وبقاؤه. Likewise, his speech and his hearing and his sight and his power and his will and his knowledge and his everlastingness. هذه الصفات أيضا كحياته. These attributes also are like his life. لا انقطاع لها. There is no interruption for them. ومعنى سبحانه, in the meaning of سبحانه, because he said that in the text. If you remember, we're explaining the text of obligatory knowledge. Here's the text. Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yaqulu adh-dhalimuna 'uluwan kabira. Glorified and exalted is he from what the unjust say about him, with great exaltation. The meaning of Subhana, which I translated as glorified is he, it is tanzih. It means he is exalted. Exaltation. He's cleared. Ay tanzihan lillahi ta'ala, meaning this is clearing Allah. Exalted is he. Wa ma'na ta'ala tanazzah. And the meaning of ta'ala is tanazzah. Okay. So subhan, at-tasbih means to go far in the language. So here it means he's exalted. Perhaps in English you'd say, for example, far from that, with the meaning of the issue is cleared from that or exalted from that. Subhanahu, A tanzihan lillahi ta'ala. So it means that Allah ta'ala is exalted. Wa ma'ana ta'ala, and ta'ala literally means to go high or to be high. He says it means tanazzah, to be exalted, to be cleared. Wa huwa tabaraka wa ta'ala muta'al. And he, the glorified and exalted, so all these words here, I'm translating them in a way that's close to each other. Tanzih and tabaraka wa ta'ala and subhan or tasbih. He, the glorified and exalted, is high, muta'al. That means exalted, majestic. Doesn't mean in a place. أي متنزه عما يقول الظالمون, meaning he is exalted, cleared from what the unjust say, أي الكافرون, meaning the blasphemers. ولما كان الكفر هو أعلى الظلم وأكبره وأشده, and since blasphemy is the highest injustice, the highest level of injustice, and the greatest injustice, and the worst, أطلق الله في القرآن الظالمين. Allah in the Quran used the word of ظالمين, the unjust. وأراد به الكافرين, and he meant by it in particular, in some spots, not in all spots, the blasphemers. لأن كل الظلم الذي هو دون الكفر بالنسبة إلى الكفر كلا ظلم, because every injustice that's less than blasphemy in comparison to blasphemy is as if it's not injustice. قال تعالى, said God Almighty, وَالْكَافِرُونَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ, the blasphemers, they are the unjust ones. الكفار هم أكبر ظلما, أي أن كفرهم أكبر من كل ذنب. The blasphemers, they are the greatest in injustice, meaning that their blasphemy is greater than every sin. وَكُلُّ الظُّلْمِ دُونَهُ, and every other injustice is less than blasphemy. وَمَعْنَى عُلُوًا كَبِيرًا تَنَزُّهًا مُؤَكَّدًا. And the meaning of عُلُوًا, highly, كَبِيرًا, greatly, so he is exalted, glorified and exalted highly and greatly from what the unjust ones say. It means an emphatic exaltation, or with emphatic exaltation. He is exalted with emphatic exaltation. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, said the author, may Allah have mercy upon him. فيتلخص من معنى ما مضى إثبات 13 صفة لله تعالى. And it is summarized from the meaning of what passed. The confirmation, so the confirmation of 13 صفة لله تعالى, of 13 attributes for Allah the Exalted, is summarized from the meaning of what has passed. تكرر ذكرها في القرآن, their mentioning is reiterated in the Quran. إما لفظا وإما معنى, either in expression or in meaning. كثيرا, frequently, reiterated frequently. وهي, and they are, not in any particular order, الوجود والوحدانية والقدم أي الأزلية, existence and oneness and eternality, meaning eternity. والبقاء وقيامه بنفسه, and everlastingness and his independence. والقدرة والإرادة والعلم والسمع والبصر والحياة والكلام والمخالفة للحوادث. And power and will and knowledge and hearing and sight and life and speech and dissimilarity to creations. الشرح, the explanation. اشتهر التعبير بهذه العبارة. This expression is famous. مخالفة الله للحوادث. This one in Arabic. مخالفة الله للحوادث. This expression is what's used to refer to his attribute that we call dissimilarity or non-resemblance to the creation. Mukhalafa means here being different, or in a more literal sense, being opposed to the creations. Al-hawadith, the events, the occurrences, the starting things. A, أن الله لا يشبه شيئا, meaning that Allah does not resemble anything. فالعبارتان معناهما واحد. Both expressions have the same meaning. وسبع من هذه الصفات المذكورة في المتن يقال لها صفات المعاني. 7 of these mentioned attributes are called the attributes of meanings. That's a literal translation. Al-ma'ani. So I'm still searching for myself. I'm not satisfied about something. There's something that I'm not satisfied with. I'm not satisfied with the word meaning. And I would translate it usually as the confirming attributes. That's, I'm still searching. والوجود يقال له صفة نفسية. And existence is called the self attribute. وأما الوحدانية والقدم ومخالفته للحوادث وقيامه بنفسه. And concerning the oneness and the eternality and his being different from the creations and his independence. أي أنه لا يحتاج إلى غيره, meaning that he does not require something else. فتسمى صفات سلبية. فتسمى صفات سلبية. They are called negating attributes. That one, the translation's easy. أما البقاء, as for everlastingness, فالإمام أبو الحسن الأشعري عده من صفات المعاني. Imam Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, he counted it amongst the confirming attributes. وبعض أتباعه عده من الصفات السلبية. And some of his followers count it as a negating attribute. والسلبية معناها التي تنفي عن الله ما لا يليق به. And salbiyah, what it means is that those negate from Allah what is not befitting. الوحدانية تنفي عن الله التعدد والمثل. Oneness negates from Allah multiplicity and similarity. والقدم ينفي عن الله الحدوث. And eternality negates from Allah createdness. والبقاء ينفي عن الله طروء العدم عليه. And everlastingness negates from Allah the occurrence of non-existence. It negates from Allah non-existence happening to him. والمخالفة للحوادث تنفي عن الله التشبيه والمثل. And dissimilarity to created things negates from Allah resemblance and similarity. والقيام بالنفس ينفي عن الله الحاجة إلى الغير. And independence negates from Allah needing something else, needing anything. ولهذا سموا هؤلاء صفات سلبية. For that reason, they called these attributes the negating attributes. أي تنفي عن الله ما لا يليق به. Meaning that they negate from Allah what does not befit Him. أما الوجود فيسمونه صفة نفسية. As for existence, they call it a self-attribute. لأن الذات لا يتعقل بدون هذه الصفة. Because the self is not conceived without this attribute. والجملة 13 صفة. And the totality or the sum is 13 attributes. من نفى صفة منها فهو كافر. Whoever negates a single one of them is a blasphemer. وأما من لم يخطر في باله أن لله 13 صفة. Concerning though who it never crossed his mind that Allah has 13 attributes. لجهله, due to his ignorance. ولم ينف, and he never negated them. ولم يشك في واحدة منها, and he never doubted about one of them. لكن ما مرت على باله بالمرة. However, it never crossed his mind at all. واعتقد معنى الشهادتين, and he believed in the meaning of the two shahadas, that no one is God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. فهو Muslim. Then he is a Muslim. Same thing if someone said, what if someone never thought that Allah exists without a place or in a place? Never crossed his mind. Same judgment. He's not a kafir if he believed in the meaning of the two shahadas. وهذه الصفات 13 الواجبة لله. And these 13 attributes that are necessary for Allah, تجب معرفتها على كل مكلف. Knowing them is obligatory on every accountable one. So here we translated wajiba as necessary. And here the verb tajib, tajibu, comes from the same root. And we translated it as obligatory. So you'd say wajaba yajibu wujuban fahuwa wajib. But the context here makes us translate it two different ways. Necessary for Allah, obligatory on the accountable. وَلَا يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِ حِفْظُ أَلْفَاظِهَا. And it is not obligatory upon him, upon the accountable, to memorize their expressions. يعني some particular expressions over others, those are not obligatory on the accountable. He has to know their meanings. فَيَتَلَخَّصُ مِنْ مَعْنَى مَا مَضَى. Thus it is summarized from the meaning of what passed. إِثْبَاتُ 13 صِفَةً لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى. The confirmation of 13 attributes for Allah. Exalted is He. تَكَرَّرَ ذِكْرُهَا. Their mentioning has been reiterated. إِمَّا بِاللَّفْظِ الظَّاهِرِ وإما بالمعنى الوارد في النصوص في القرآن والحديث. Either by the apparent expression or else by the meaning of what came in the texts in the Quran and the Hadith. Wahi, and they are al-wujud, existence. A, أن الله تعالى موجود, meaning that Allah, exalted is He, is existent. So the attribute is existence. And so He is then described as existent. قال الله تعالى, or existing. Said Allah, exalted is He. أفي الله شك, is there in Allah a doubt? That's the 10th ayah of Surah Ibrahim. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the Prophet said صلى الله عليه وسلم, كان الله ولم يكن شيء غيره. Allah was, and there was nothing else. والوحدانية. So look there, here. أفي الله شك. Where is the mentioning of existence in the ayah? Is there a doubt in Allah? So it's understood. Allah was, and there wasn't anything else. Existence is clear here. Was here means existed. Kana here means existed. It is therefore valid to refer to Allah or describe Allah as Ka'in, Ka'in, existing or being, meaning existing. وَالْوَحْدَانِيَّةِ أي أنه واحد لا شريك له, meaning that He is one, He has no partner. One without a partner. قال الله تعالى, Allah, exalted is He, said, لو كان فيهما آلهة إلا الله لفسدتا. Had there been for the both of them, meaning heavens and earth, gods besides Allah, they would be in ruin. They would be in disarray. 22nd ayah of Surah Al-Anbiya. أي لو كان لهما آلهة غير الله لفسدتا. It means what I just said. When I translated it, it just says what Sheikh says now. أو في هنا بمعنى على أي لو كان عليهما أي مسيطر على الأرض والسماء آلهة إلا الله أي غير الله لفسدتا. Or في, which I translated as for, had there been for them, here means على, over. أي لو كان عليهما أي مسيطر على الأرض والسماء, meaning had there been over them, meaning dominating over the earth and the sky, gods, except besides Allah, they would have been in ruin, in disarray. أي السماوات والأرض, meaning the heavens and earth. Interesting. Just, that word over. Anyway, I won't go there. It's fine. Something I have in myself. والقدم, and eternality. أي أنه لا ابتداء لوجوده, meaning that there is no beginning for His existence. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, هو الأول والآخر. He is the first and the last. The first means the one who existed before everything existed. And the last means the one that nothing follows his existence. That's the 3rd ayah of Surah Al-Hadid. Wal-baqa, and everlastingness. Ay annahu la nihayata liwujudihi, meaning that there is no end to his existence. La yamutu wa la yahlik, he does not die and he does not perish. وَلَا يَتَغَيَّرُ, and he does not change. Period. قال الله تعالى, period here. Said Allah, exalted is He, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ, أي ذاته, the self of your Lord remains. That's the 27th ayah of Surah Al-Rahman. That's the 27th ayah of Surah Al-Rahman. وَالْقِيَامُ بِالنَّفْسِ, and independence. أي أنه مستغن عن كل ما سواه, meaning that he is independent from everything else. وكل ما سواه محتاج إليه, and everything else requires him, needs him. فالعالم لا يستغني عن الله طرفة عين, and so the world, the universe, all creation in totality, nothing of creation in totality is independent of God for the blink of an eye. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, فإن الله غني عن العالمين. Indeed, Allah is independent of all the creations. That's the 97th verse of Surah Al-Imran. وَالْقُدْرَةِ, and power. أي أن الله قادر على كل شيء, meaning that Allah has power over everything. أي كل ممكن عقلي, meaning over everything that's possible intellectually. يجوز عقلا وجوده وعدمه, everything that is everything that is possible intellectually, everything that its existence and its non-existence is possible intellectually. فَاللَّهُ لَا يُعْجِزُهُ شَيْءٍ, and so Allah, nothing disables him or cripples him. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. وَالْقُدْرَةُ صِفَةٌ أَزَلِيَّةٌ أَبَدِيَّةٌ, and power is an eternal, everlasting attribute. يؤثر الله بها في الممكنات إيجادا وإعداما. Allah, by it, affects. By it, Allah affects the possibilities in terms of existence and non-existence. In terms of rendering them existent or rendering them non-existent. وَالْإِرَادَةُ أي الْمَشِيئَةُ, and will. It has two names, إرادة and مشيئة. وهي تخصيص الممكن العقلي ببعض ما يجوز عليه من الصفات دون بعض. It is specifying the intellectual possibility with some of what is possible for it of attributes, instead of other things that are possible for it. Meaning, He makes it one way or another. وَبِوَقْتٍ دُونَ آخَرٍ, and at one time instead of another. If He didn't say that, it would still be included. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And you do not will. You is plural here. Tasha'una, you, plural. Do not will unless Allah wills. وَالْعِلْمُ أي أن الله, وَالْعِلْمُ, and knowledge, meaning أن الله يعلم كل شيء بعلمه الأزلي. Meaning that Allah knows everything by His eternal knowledge. وَلَا يَتَجَدَّدُ لَهُ عِلْمٌ, and knowledge does not recur or renew or occur for him. لأن علمه علم واحد, because his knowledge is one knowledge. شامل لكل المعلومات, inclusive of or pertaining to all known things. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما, and that Allah, He has encompassed everything in knowledge. 12th ayah of Surah Al-Talaq. والسمع والبصر, أي أن الله يسمع بسمعه الأزلي, and hearing and sight. أي أن الله يسمع بسمعه الأزلي, it means that Allah hears by His eternal hearing. الذي ليس كسمع غيره, it is that hearing which is not like another's hearing. ويرى برؤيته التي ليست كرؤية غيره, and He sees by His sight that is not like another's sight. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, وهو السميع البصير, and He is the hearer, the seer. That's the 11th ayah of Surah Ash-Shura. والحياة, and life, أي أن الله حي بحياة أزلية أبدية, meaning that Allah is alive or living, but living meaning an adjective, not a verb. Alive by an eternal everlasting life. ليست بروح ولحم ودم, it's not a soul or flesh or blood. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. Allah, no one is God but He, the living, the Qayyum. That's 255 of Al-Baqarah. والكلام, and speech, أي أنه سبحانه وتعالى متكلم بكلام أزلي أبدي, meaning that He, the glorified and exalted, is a speaker by an eternal everlasting speech. ليس حرفا ولا صوتا, it is neither a letter nor a sound. ولا لغة, nor a language. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, وكلم الله موسى تكليما, Allah spoke a speech to Moses. That means Allah literally spoke to Moses with the uncreated speech. That's 164 of Surah An-Nisa. وَالْمُخَالَفَةُ لِلْحَوَادِثِ, and dissimilarity to created things. أي جميع المخلوقات, meaning all creations. أي أنه لا يشبه شيئا من خلقه, meaning that He does not resemble anything of His creations, any of His creations. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He. ليس كمثله شيء, unlike Him is anything. Unlike Him is there anything. Nothing is like Him. That's the 11th ayah of Surah Ash-Shura. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, said the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, فلما كانت هذه الصفات ذكرها كثيرا في النصوص الشرعية, so when it was that these attributes, their mentioning was frequent in the texts, in the sacred texts. قال العلماء, the scholars therefore said, تجب معرفتها وجوبا عينيا. يعني the scholars deduced that knowing them is obligatory as a personal obligation. الشرح, the explanation, أنه تجب معرفة هذه الصفات وجوبا عينيا, is that it is obligatory to know these attributes as a as a personal obligation, على كل مكلف, upon every accountable one. نص على ذلك العديد من العلماء المتأخرين. A number of latter-day scholars have documented that. منهم محمد بن يوسف السنوسي صاحب العقيدة السنوسية. Amongst them is Muhammad ibn Yusuf as-Sanusi, the author of the Sanusi Creed. المتوفى سنة المتوفى سنة 895. The one who passed away in the year 895. ومحمد بن الفضالي الشافعي, and the Shafi'i scholar Muhammad son of al-Fadali, المتوفى سنة 1236, the one who passed away in the year 1236. وعبد المجيد الشرنوبي المالكي, and the Maliki scholar Abdul Majid al-Shurnubi, المتوفى سنة 1348, the one who passed away in the year 1348. وقبلهم بكثير ذكر مثل ذلك أبو حنيفة في كتاب الفقه الأكبر. And before them by a long time, Abu Hanifa mentioned that in the book Al-Fiqh al-Akbar, the greatest comprehension. The greatest fiqh, the greater fiqh, the greater fiqh. وعلى مثل ذلك نص الحافظ النووي في كتاب المقاصد وغيرهم كثير. And the likes of that documented the hadith headmaster An-Nawawi in the book Al-Maqasid, and many others. ثم إن المتأخرين من علماء أهل السنة اصطلحوا على تسمية 7 صفات المعاني. Furthermore, the latter-day scholars from the people of the prophetic way have taken some terminology naming 7 attributes as ma'ani attributes, meanings, the attributes of meanings. كما تقدم, as previously mentioned, وهي القدرة والإرادة والعلم والسمع والبصر والكلام والحياة. They are power, will, knowledge, hearing, sight, speech, and life. مع الخلاف في عد البقاء معها, with a difference about counting everlastingness in this category. وتسمية 7 لازمة لهذه 7 بالصفات المعنوية, and naming 7 necessary implications from these 7 attributes as معنوية attributes. That means attributes that are implied by the meanings, attributes that are implied by the confirmed attributes, the confirming attributes, attributes that are implied by the confirming attributes. وهي كونه تعالى قادرا وكونه مريدا وكونه عالما وكونه حيا وكونه سميعا وكونه بصيرا وكونه متكلما. They are his being powerful, exalted is he, and his being willing or a willer, and his being a knower, and his being alive, and his being a hearer, and his being a seer, and his being a speaker. وقال بعضهم تجب معرفتها كلها عينا. Some of them said, knowing all of those is a personal obligation. واقتصر بعضهم على الاكتفاء بمعرفة السبع الأولى. And some have sufficed with or limited the obligation to knowing the first seven. عن معرفة الصفات السبعة المعنوية, without having to know the implied seven. لأن معرفة صفات المعاني تستلزم معرفة ثبوت الصفات المعنوية لله. Because knowing the confirming attributes dictates, necessitates, is bound to, you are bound to know the confirmation of the implied seven by knowing the first seven. فإنه يلزم من معرفة ثبوت العلم لله معرفة كونه عالما. For indeed, it is binding that knowing the confirmation of knowledge for God, knowing the confirmation of knowledge for God, or let's say, knowing his being, a knower is binding from the confirmation of knowledge of God. أما الصفات السلبية والصفات النفسية فلا بد من معرفتها. And concerning the negating attributes and the self attribute, there is no alternative to knowing them.